Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Today we are going to crosshatch a skull. I'm gonna go over how to do that, and it's gonna be the kind of the top half of the skull. Hopefully, you can see on the paper. I kind of put a very loose line art of in pencil of a skull, without its lower jaw, and I'm gonna be using a Pentel Stylo pen. You know what I mean? Very inky. It's got kind of fountain pen, So let's get started with. Excuse me. It's late at night. Let's pretend the light's coming from this side, okay? That's what we're going to kind of pretend. And a lot of this is going to be in shadow. And so what I first do is I try to think of how it's going to cover the form. How is that light going to hit this object? First thing I'm going to take into account that the large planes, you know what I mean? Like if you're to simplify this to its simplest form, this would be the front plane right here, the face, and then the side plane would be this over here, the side of the head. And I'm going to think about how this light is going to affect, first of all, the eye sockets. And I'm going to go in there and trace out the shadow pattern, kind of like that, like little flicks of little lines when I do the edge of certain objects. Because that's a rolling, right? It's going to be a rounded form. You know what I mean? Through the kind of brow line, the orbital bone, the orbicularis oculi. And this is going to be more solid. Same thing goes over here. Tracing out first the nasal cavity. And the divot here. There's some divots on a skull, or kind of with the cheekbones kind of batch up where the muscles kind of connect. I'm going to draw the line for the zygomatic arch on that side. And I'm going to be doing, so basically for any edge, like any contour edge, anything that's straight, I'm going to draw a straight line. And for anything that I find rolls even a tiny bit, by that I mean the light is rolling over, let's say, the edge, because we all know the orbicularis oculi, around the corners of it's kind of there's a little bit of a round, there's a little bit of a bevel, you know what I mean? A little bit of a round. Up through here, this is just the contour I'm doing. So I'm going to get that in there. Probably shouldn't have done that in one stroke. It's head's a little egg-like, but it'll do for this demonstration. Right here, it's really rounding out from one plane to the other right here. So I'm going to make the lines bigger. The more they roll over, the rounder that form would be. Going down, and he's not gonna have the lower jaw attached. It's just gonna be the upper tooth cylinder. Over here, matching with the zygomatic arch, which is basically the cheekbone. Right there. Skull's a little weird shape, to be honest, but I'll have to deal with it. I'm going to cut a little bit of the edge there and cheat it. Alright, now let's go over here. The tooth cylinder is a cylinder shape, It is round, kind of the top part. This would be the top row of teeth. Putting that in there lightly. And I want to see where it's going to transition. And there's going to be a lot of little bevels, right? For those little bevels, I'm going to put little lines, little dashes, like I said. If you zoom into those dashes, it would be like, literally, like flicks, you know? And I'm doing that again, just to kind of showcase where that area is going to, where it's rolling into the darkness. And I'm going to make the real roll about here, where it's really going to roll into the dark. Over here, this side of the plane. Okay, so now we're going to handle the darks, the extreme darks. I'm going to have some dark roll into the orbicularis oculi. It's going to be almost entirely dark, really. But without just blacking it all in, I'm going to put some lines here. And I'm going to cross over them like a mesh. And again, I'm just trying to represent a cavity right now, so it's going to be pretty dark. I don't have to pay attention too much to where those lines are crossing over. Darkening it a lot, like I'm just going every which direction for at least for this cavity. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to time lapse this because it's just me filling in darks right now. So. Alrighty. It's just me filling in these dark areas, but I'm not going to totally like refine them and everything right now because I really want to get into the shadow pattern of itself. So when you're doing this, you're following the form. You're following the form pretty much everywhere. You have to really think in 3D when you do this. And the bigger, you also kind of have to follow the shape of objects. So if this is a rounded form, you follow that rounded form. You throw the lines, that's the direction the lines are going to go. And you kind of intermesh them like a web, or like I said, a mesh, like a screen door. pulling these lines again, as thinking of them as tiny planes. It's almost like you're painting the actual object. That's why I said to think in 3D. You know, because this is curving downward. You know, it's gonna dictate how it looks. Throwing in more lines here because this entire side's gonna be in shadow. And it's a larger, it's a bigger space over here, so that's why the lines are so big that I'm throwing in there. And again, I'm throwing these overlapping lines like a mesh, like a screen door. This pen's kind of crapping out on me though. Crossing over diagonally. But again, I'm going with the form, following the form. You know, it's a slightly rounded surface, but it's still, the plane is going that direction, still following the direction of the plane. Over here, same. Doing it all over. It's a large surface space. Pulling from the edge. A big part of this is to kind of be able to squint, you know, and kind of figure out where these spaces are going. And you're throwing smaller and smaller lines to kind of even out the bigger lines sometimes, because that's the way the details would work. That's the way the details would, you kind of have to refine them. I'm going to time-lapse this part and show you how I'm going to try to bring this, give more dimension to this by throwing more lines in there. Okay, so we're getting to smaller areas too because it's a big plane, but there's also little changes, little tiny changes in planes. Like right here, there's going to be a small protrusion. I go into that and I trace that out as well. You know, again, I'm doing overlapping lines. You know, like mesh lines. This is a rounded form. I'll show that it's rounded through these little lines, these little flicks. Showing small changes in form right here along the edge. on this side as well. Throw some flicks and dashes to show the form. Same thing, throwing small flicks and dashes here. Now let's throw a quick cast shadow real quick. So if it's coming from here, the cast shadow will be something. We're going to approximate it too. We're not going to be too serious on it. There is a system for it, but I'm not going to do that system. That I'm going to fill in. I'm not going to fill it in because I'm going to kill this pen if I do it. But just to get an idea, I would shade it along a flat ground. You know, see, I would shade. I'll do large lines so you'll know what I would do. See, I would fill it like that because it's a floor, right? So I'm gonna go with the floor. You know, again, if I was to mesh that, see, I would go. There's like a y-axis and an x-axis, right? I would do that. And then I would even throw in, I would go, give it another axis. You know, normally I would fill that in, the whole thing super, super dark, because that's the cast shadow. But I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I'm going to kill this pen right now. It's going to be too much ink. And that's more for, you know, just like private pieces and stuff like that. I don't want to kill this pen right now. But please keep in mind, no matter what it is, these lines you're drawing, think of them as painting lines onto a three-dimensional object. You know, you're revealing the shape. Like you can tell this is down like that. This is side because the lines are going down. You're revealing more and more the shape, the more of these lines that you put down, and that's the direction it's going to go in. You're like, it's almost like sculpting on paper. You know what I mean? You're slowly revealing more and more little bits and bits. You know, if there's a little nuance there, it's shaped weird, you would shape it like that. That's pretty much how I kind of crosshatch. And this is just like, again, an example of how I would use it. In my private drawing, I would draw this, you know, I'd go in there like crazy, kill this pen completely, and just kind of like really, really, you know, emphasize it and finesse over and over, finesse every shape I could possibly do. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot. That I just how to go over like some real basics of cross-hatching a skull. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'll answer you back. I'm going to try to answer everybody back, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and appreciate the channel, the views and the likes. I'm going to put that in there just because it's bugging me. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and make any requests, and I'll do it. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Peace out.